It just gets worse. Sir Keir Starmer managed to make sausages, out of his own party conference speech.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
I told my 7-year-old son about this. He rolled over on his back in hysterics. Doesn't look good for Sir Keir on the global stage. Then there was that awkward kiss at the end. His wife wearing a borrowed dress rather than one given to her by Labour donor to the front bench, Lord Alli. Although, borrowed or given, what's the difference? As if we're going to police whether it was ever returned. Now it transpires Sir Keir Starmer has admitted that Lord Alli gave him £32,000 to pay for clothing, double what was declared for that specific purpose. So, on top of the £16,200, Keir received £10,000 in clothing donations in October last year, and £6,000 in February this year, which he did not declare as clothing, rather as money for his private office. Although, which office that might be, who knows, as this week it was revealed that Keir Starmer used Lord Alli's house to give a COVID message telling us all to stay at home. He even went to the trouble of dressing up the background so it would appear as though he were in his own house. I think you call that subterfuge.
And working from home if we can really will help prevent infections.
He claimed that it was to protect his son, who was doing his exams, from the press and journalists who were apparently hovering around outside his home. Only the timings were wrong, so that didn't make any sense. So after all the pontificating and the trade of abuse that Boris Johnson and the Tories received from the opposition at the time, that many on the Labour at the front benches had their snouts firmly in the Lord Alli trough. Talk about double standards. And it looks to me that he even tried to disguise it. The question that needs to be asked is what is expected in return for all of this? When I go on a hot date, for example, I'm wined and dined and made to feel like a princess. My date wants something in return. So I struggle to understand why Keir Starmer didn't appear to sort of understand how that looked.
Do you see how it looks to some people that there's one rule for you in terms of being able to claim this stuff that other people don't have access to?
Well, I think that's why the rules are there to declare it. But look, every day...
Do you get it, though?
Every day...
Do you get how it looks?
If you're putting to me, Beth, that I should have stayed in my Kentish Town home and disrupted my son's GCSEs, that was the right thing to do, then I think you should put that to me.
OK. Well, you're saying that you shouldn't have stayed in the home because you wanted to protect your boy.
I wanted him to be able to do his GCSEs, and any parent would have made the same decision.
The question is, what does Lord Alli get in return? Before we get stuck into the debates, here's what else is coming up today for the Great British Debate this hour. I'm asking, is stopping the boats racist? Stand Up to Racism seem to think so. Then GP and medical writer Dr René Honderkamp will join me in The Pulse to discuss the death of a woman believed to have undergone a non-surgical Brazilian butt lift and how dangerous they can be. That is on the way in the next hour. As ever, I've got difficult conversations. We'll be discussing domestic abuse. That is on the way. Don't forget, send me your thoughts, post your comments, gbnews.com/your say. Ten minutes after 4 o'clock. Joining me now, former Labour Minister Dennis McShane. Right, Dennis, was I unfair in my niggle with regard to Sir Keir Starmer?
I don't think so, Nana. I will forgive you this one. But I was fascinated to learn today from none other than Michael Gove, taking over the very right-wing Spectator, that David and Samantha Cameron also had free clothes from a sort of secret Tory slush fund. Michael Gove telling us, not the Wicked Guardian, Michael Gove. Or a Tory MP, Sir Lawrence Robertson, who trousered £82,000. But all of it declared, because, of course, the interesting aspect of all of this is everything now has to be declared, so we're finding out. And your question about what does Lord Alli get in return...
What does he get in return?
Well, not a lot. I mean, I remember when, before the 1997 election, this guy is a genius. He came from a one-parent family, immigrant background, and got into TV very early on and made a fortune. Everybody acknowledges he's a genius at it. And before the 1997 election, he decided to give Peter Mandelson use of a car and a chauffeur. So Peter, who was doing extraordinary things for Labour, they could whiz around without worrying about parking. What else he got? He was a Lord quite soon afterwards. I don't quite know what he does get in return.
It seems a bit odd, though, doesn't it? Because I think that a lot of people... Because it feels as though the narrative is, well, as long as I've declared it, then it's OK. It's not really OK, is it? Especially when you're taking winter fuel payments, you're saying that there's a black hole that we're all, that the Labour Party are literally throwing themselves into. But you're talking about a black hole and saying how this is terrible and how things are going to get worse before they get better. And then you seem to have your snout in the trough to tunes of hundreds of thousands of pounds. They're all at it.
I think it's horrible. I think I may have been on your or one other GB News programme arguing consistently that we need to have democracy pay for democracy. Now, when politicians run around, whether it's in the old days from trade unions or Boris Johnson trousering 14, not personally, of course, for the party, £14 million from Putin oligarchs, it now is it distorts everything. I mean, dear old Boris, I was just looking at the Dutch press today, his threat to invade them. I mean, he really is making Britain the laughing stock of Europe.
Well, no, his point was that he wanted to take the AstraZeneca vaccines that were rightly ours from a factory that he thought that we should be getting them.
Yeah, well, the headline of De Telegraaf, which is a bit like The Telegraph, very serious conservative paper in Russia's Boris Johnson planned invasion of the Netherlands.
I've heard the
he is just the laughing stock of Europe.
I don't know about that, and I think Keir Starmer might come close to that with all of this that's going on, if people are watching and seeing. I think the issue that people have with this is the utter hypocrisy of the Labour Party. The fact that they were standing pontificating on high about integrity, and everyone was saying Keir Starmer's a man of integrity. Well, he's a very rich man. He's got his own statutory instrument for his pension. He doesn't need the money. He could spend his own money, and people are suffering, and he's taking freebies. It's just... And it's not just him. It's literally the entire front bench of the Labour Party. They're all at it.
And at the same time, all members of the Liberal Democrat Party, when they were in government, Tories when they were in government, I agree with you. It's hitting Labour hard. I'm not dissenting one little bit. And I tell you, I'm on an ex-Labour MP's WhatsApp group, and the people who are going absolutely off the wall are all the women retired MPs.
Yeah.
Because they really sense that. They don't like to be told, you're a woman and somebody's got to give you free clothes in order to be an MP. I mean, this makes a mockery of politics. It is damaging, and I think the consequences will last.
And I also think that the main issue for it as well is the question of my monologue is that what are you getting in return for this? And there has to be some kickback somewhere, even if it's softening the person up for something. Or why would you give somebody a gift without needing to give them a gift? There's got to be, and also, won't it affect that person's ability to be completely objective when making a decision about something that you're involved in?
Well, let me confess, as MP for Rotherham, I could walk into the director's box for Rotherham United home games, and I'd see the chief constable there, the leader of the council, maybe the vicar. I mean, that was a normal part of bigwigs of the local community. Once I went up as a minister to New Balance, the sports firm up in the Lake District, fabulous place, and I came away with a New Balance T-shirt. I probably still got it. Now, did they get anything in return? I'm not sure.
Oh, come on, Dennis, a T-shirt is hardly the same as like 32 grand's worth of money to buy clothes.
Oh, sure. But unfortunately, my clothes taste is so bad. I mean, I'm challenged by working my way through Primark.
Well, I'm glad you said it. Dennis McShane, thank you very much.